He opened the door and saw his wife with his brother. My father never believed in bad instincts. He believed in schedules, handshakes, and promises that were meant to last a lifetime. He believed that if you worked hard, loved honestly, and stayed loyal, life would meet you halfway. That belief followed him for 46 years, until the afternoon it died. Part 1. The day that shouldn't have been different. It was supposed to be a normal Thursday. My father left the house at 6:30 a.m., just like he always did. Coffee in a travel mug. Lunch packed neatly by my mother. A quick kiss on her cheek before heading out the door. Nothing felt wrong. But around noon, a meeting was canceled. The kind of small change that usually means nothing. Except this time, it came with a strange weight in his chest. He tried to ignore it. He stayed at work another hour, answered emails, cleaned his desk. Then, without telling anyone, he drove home. He would later say he didn't know why. Just a feeling. Part 2. A house that felt different. The driveway was occupied. That was the first thing he noticed. A familiar car. His brother's car. At first, it didn't alarm him. His younger brother had always been close. He stopped by often. Fixed things around the house, shared meals, shared laughter. Family did that. Still, something felt off. The house was quiet when my father stepped inside. Too quiet for early afternoon. No TV, no radio, no sound of my mother moving around. He called her name. No answer. Then he noticed the shoes. Not his. Not hers. His brother's. His chest tightened. Part 3. The walk down the hall. He moved slowly down the hallway. Every step heavier than the last. That was when he heard it. Laughter, soft, familiar, intimate, coming from the bedroom. His mind raced to explain it away. Maybe they were talking. Maybe the TV was on. Maybe he was overthinking. But the door was closed. My parents never closed that door during the day. He stood there longer than he wants to admit. Hand hovering inches from the handle. Heart pounding so hard he could hear it in his ears. Then he pushed the door open. Part 4. The moment everything broke. There are moments in life that don't feel real until years later. This was one of them. My mother stood near the bed, his wife of 23 years, and beside her was his brother, not half-dressed, not mid-argument, but close enough that no explanation could undo what his eyes already knew. The room went silent. Time didn't stop. It fractured. My father felt dizzy, like the floor had shifted beneath him. He grabbed the doorframe just to stay standing. No one spoke. Finally, he asked the only question that mattered. How long? My uncle couldn't look at him. My mother began to cry, and then she said the words that still echo in my father's memory. It just happened. My father laughed, a short, broken sound, because nothing like, that just happens. Part 5. A man who refused to scream. My father didn't shout. He didn't raise his voice. That scared them more than anger ever could. He turned away and walked to the living room, sitting down slowly, like an old man who had suddenly aged decades in seconds. For almost an hour, no one spoke. My mother cried quietly. My uncle whispered apologies. My father stared at the wall. When he finally stood up, his voice was calm, but empty. I trusted you with my life, he said to my wife. Then he turned to his brother. And I trusted you with my family. There was nothing left to say. Part 6. Walking away from everything. That night my father packed one bag, not everything, just enough to survive. At the door he stopped, looked back at the two people who had destroyed everything he believed in. To my mother he said, "You didn't just betray me, You erased our past. To his brother, he said, You didn't steal my wife. You stole my family. Then he walked out. No yelling, no revenge, no drama, just silence. Part 7. The Aftermath. No one talks about the betrayal didn't end that night. It spread. Family members took sides. Some blamed loneliness. Some blamed work schedules. Some blamed my father for being emotionally unavailable. No one wanted to say the obvious. My mother called him every day for weeks. My uncle sent long messages explaining, apologizing, begging. My father never replied. He moved into a small apartment across town. Cheap furniture, bare walls, microwave dinners. He went to work, came home, slept. That was his life. Part 8. The Child Who Watched It All. I was old enough to understand, but too young to process it. I saw the way my father's shoulders sagged, the way he stopped humming while driving, the way silence followed him everywhere. Once I asked him if he hated them. He shook his head. No, he said. Hate still means you care. Part 9. When the truth finally landed months later, my mother admitted it hadn't just happened. It had been going on for over a year. Family dinners, holidays, smiles, all lies. That truth didn't make things worse. It just made them final. My father filed for divorce without a fight, gave her the house, gave up everything, except his dignity. Part 10. The Brother Who Disappeared. My uncle vanished from our lives. No holidays, no calls, no apologies. My father never asked about him, and no one ever spoke his name again. Part 11. Healing is not loud years past. My father learned how to live alone, not happily, but peacefully. He rebuilt himself quietly, without speeches, without explanations. One evening, years later, I asked him how he survived it. He thought for a long time, then said, The worst part wasn't losing your mother. It was losing my brother on the same day. Part 12. The Final Truth. Some betrayals don't end relationships. They end entire chapters of your life. My father never remarried, but he found something else. Peace. Ending. The door that never closed. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. And some betrayals don't just break hearts. They break families. My father lost a wife and a brother in one afternoon. But he kept one thing they couldn't take from him: his self-respect.